Welcome back to the Coaching Masters podcast and Power Hour. So what we're talking about today is we're talking about the reticular activating system. What is the reticular activating system? What is the RAS and how do we use it in order to change our lives? Now, there's something that I've always been fascinated with since a young age. Not as much as my brother, for instance, I have to make that point. But what I've been fascinated with is superheroes, right? I think superheroes are very, very, very interesting. My brother, on the other hand, is genuinely obsessed with superheroes, but like I was just interested in them. But the more I move through life and the more that I understand about mindset and the more that I understand about how the body works in relation to our nervous system and how the nervous system works in relation to our memories and how our memories work in relation to our experiences and how our experiences create beliefs and how beliefs either drive us forward or hold us back, and they are responsible for what we do and what action we take or don't take, and action is responsible for our results and results are responsible for the way that we feel and everything, right? Boom, 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 boom. It's all connected. It's all connected. It's all this big web, this big map of existence that makes us an interesting human being. What we can do is we can influence the map. We can influence the system. We can change things in order to be able to get the results that we actually want, right? Now, here's the thing. Most people assume that life is just unfolding in front of us and we can't really influence it, and whatever happens, happens, and life sucks and life is shit and then you die. Screw that mindset, screw that perspective, because that is completely and utterly handing over our power to something outside of ourselves. I'm here to let us know that we have influence. We have influence. We can change things. In terms of our life, in terms of our mindset, in terms of our results, we are in control. But in order to be in control, we have to understand the system. The reason that I mentioned superheroes is because the more I move through life, the more I realize that we are superheroes. Every single one of us, we are evolving. Now, we have one of those superpowers that we share, why it's effective and how to use it. Now, our brains are incredibly complex, right? Now, we can shift through billions of bits of data and information at any one given time. And somehow, our brains don't completely collapse. They don't short circuit, We have to organize that information that we receive. We have to organize it in a very specific way in order for us not to completely collapse and break down. The reticular activating system helps organize the information that is going through our brain, right? Now, we can process so much information, it's outrageous to the point of superhuman standard. However, we're not consciously thinking about all of those pieces of information because our brain would collapse if we tried to consciously think about everything that is going through our minds. So we need a system of organization, right? The reticular activating system is something that helps us organize our thoughts. The reticular activating system is a bundle of nerves that we have at the foot of our brainstem that filters out unnecessary information so that the important information can make its way through to our conscious mind, okay? Now, the reticular activating system is the reason as to why, if you leave your house today and you go and buy yourself a yellow Mercedes, I don't even know if fucking they do yellow Mercedes, but anyway, who cares? Let's say that you go out and you make the decision you're going to buy a yellow Mercedes. From the very, very first moment, you even become aware that this yellow Mercedes exists. And then you take that a little bit further and it becomes a little bit more important to you and you make the decision you're actually going to buy one of these things. All of a sudden, you see them everywhere. You've made the decision that you're going to buy a particular car and then you see that car everywhere non-stop. You make the decision that you like a particular name and all of a sudden you see the name written up on a billboard or in the credits of a television show, or you meet someone who has that name and you think to yourself, oh my God, I only just decided I love that fucking name and now I see it everywhere. It's the same reason as to why when a song is meaningful to you, a song that you love, a song that has an emotional effect on you, a song that's important to you, all of a sudden you hear it in the most unusual of places like an elevator or a coffee shop, or you're sitting next to someone on the train and you can hear them playing the song through their headphones. So the reticular activating system is responsible for these things. It's also responsible for why you can sit in a room, right? A very loud, crowded room full of talking people. Let's say, for instance, you're sitting in the middle of fucking Trafalgar Square as England are approaching the semi-final of the Euros, right? Let's say that you were sitting in the middle of Trafalgar Square yesterday, midday, right, before the final happened, the semi-final happened. And of course, there's going to be an outrageous amount of noise, right? There's going to be a lot of white noise. There's going to be a lot of talking. There's going to be a lot of glasses falling over, whatever. Now, even when you're in a very, very busy environment, if somebody says your name, you hear it, all right? Do we or do we not? If someone says your name, that somehow makes its way through the noise and fucking cuts through it like butter, and it hits our eardrums, even in a loud environment like that. Am I right or am I right? Right? And that is because your reticular activating system is allowing that piece of information to make its way through because it's important to you, right? Now, your reticular activating system takes what you focus on and it creates a filter for it. This is the genius of the RAS. It takes what you're focused on, it takes what's important to you, and it creates a filter for that thing so it can make its way through the noise, so it can get through all of the other bits of information that you are not that fussed about. What it then does is it shifts through and sifts through the data, all of the white noise, all of the other stuff, and presents to you only the pieces of information that are important to you. So let's use that car example again. If you make the decision that you're going to go out and buy a yellow Mercedes, and all of a sudden you see yellow Mercedes everywhere, you're also seeing all of these other types of cars and all of these other colors everywhere, but you're not consciously processing that because it's not important to you. The reticular activating system takes what's important to you from the outside world, shoves it right in your face so that you can see it clearly, and it allows everything else to slowly fade away in grayness and black and white. So that what you're focused on is right there, smack bang in the middle, right there in front of your face, right? So you can see it. And all of this happens without us having to consciously think about it or even noticing that it's happening, right? All of that happens. The RAS programs itself to work in your favor without you actively doing anything, without you having to actively do anything. Now, I don't know about you, but that to me is X-Men shit, right? That's like superhuman standard stuff. When we are down on ourselves and we're worried and we're beating ourselves up and we're assuming that we're not worthy, and we're assuming that no one will love us, and we're assuming that no one will listen to us, and we're questioning our authority, and we're questioning whether or not we're an imposter and we have imposter syndrome, and do I really deserve to be successful? Do I have what it takes to be happy? Am I really allowed to be fulfilled? And we're filled with all of these limiting beliefs that we were given since a very, very young age, and we're really well and truly beating ourselves up. When you find yourself in that moment, I want you to stop and realize and recognize my brain is so advanced that I have this thing called the reticular activating system that automatically deletes information from my brain that is not important to me and shows me the things that I'm focused on. I am a fucking X-Men. But you're superhuman, right? X-Men, X-Woman, you're both, right? You're fucking superhuman. You are Superwoman and you're Superman at the same time. Next time you're really beating yourself up, I want you to fully embrace this idea that you are so advanced as a human being. You are practically evolved from something less, which is true. Like, not practically. Homo sapiens, as we are fully evolved compared to all of the other types of, human that there's been throughout history. We are fully advanced. Maybe today, maybe yesterday, there may have been a time where you questioned yourself in general, right? Am I really good enough? Am I really smart enough? Will people listen to me? Have I got any authority? Is this imposter syndrome? Why would I be successful over somebody else? Or why do I deserve to be fulfilled over that person? right? Questioning ourselves or beating ourselves up. I want you to stop and realize that your brain is so advanced that automatically, without you having to realize it, you have the ability to blank out all of the white noise of the world around you and focus in like a laser on the things that are important to you. And you do that so well and so automatically, you don't even know you're doing it. You're a superhuman, right? Now, let's dive into this in a little bit more detail. In the same way that the reticular activating system seeks information that validates your beliefs, right? Because don't forget, that's what it's doing. The reticular activating system is looking for information to put in front of you. Now, what is that information? That information are things that you believe in, right? You either believe them to be true or not to be true, but you have a firm belief about them and you're focused on them, right? So let's say, for instance, if somebody was to yell your name from across the room, that of course would be important to you because someone's calling your name, right? Somebody wants you or needs you and you have to focus on that. Someone shouts your name from across the room, that of course, on a conscious and subconscious level is going to be important to you because somebody's yelling your name, right? Now, you believe that that is your name and you believe that when somebody says your name, the chances are they need your attention, right? So one, we have focus and we have belief. And what has happened is your brain has cancelled out all of the white noise in order to hear your name because you believe in that thing and you're focused on it, right? So anyway, it filters the world through the parameters in which you give it. This is very, very, very important. And your beliefs shape those parameters. So what you believe to be true, what you believe to be false, what you believe to be important, what you believe to be unimportant, what you believe that you should focus on, what you believe about yourself, your beliefs shape the parameters in which you see the world. And your reticular activating system is the biological, scientific proof that we do that. It's not woohoo, it's not willy-nilly, it's not a theory. Your reticular activating system biologically and scientifically is shaping the parameters in which you see the world. And those parameters are based upon your beliefs, your values, and your focus, okay? Write that down. Those parameters are based upon your beliefs, your values, and your focus. Why is this important? This is important because if you spend your very valuable time feeling negative emotions that you don't want to feel and experiencing negative experiences that you don't want to experience and find yourself in places you don't want to be, with people that you don't want to be with, doing things that you don't want to do, which I'm very sad to say is the vast majority of people working the 9 to 5 and feeling unfulfilled. It's because your values, your beliefs, and your focus are firmly directed towards those things. So your reticular activating system thinks it's doing you a massive favor and saying, well, if this is what this person wants to focus on, and this is what they believe, and this is what they value, this is what I'm going to fucking show them. And then there's all of this other stuff out there in the big wide world, which could introduce you to another way of living. It could introduce you to an alternative lifestyle, alternative feelings and emotions and opportunities. And you literally can't see them, even though they're there, because your reticular activating system thinks it's doing you a favor and it's only showing you the things that you're focused on, that you believe, and that you value. Let's refine this even further, right? Because even though values and beliefs also contribute towards what your reticular activating system shows you, let's focus just on focus. Right? Let's simplify this whole thing because I'm a big fucking believer in that. You guys know this, right? I'm a big believer in taking something that's complex and complicated and everybody else will have a big dick swinging competition with it to show you how smart they are. And I want us instead to actually simplify this stuff so much that we could explain it to our children. They totally get it and it changes their lives. That's what I want to do. I want to simplify this incredible, complex, unusual, life-changing material. And I want to simplify it so much to the point where we can explain it to any child. They not only understand it, but they can apply it. And the generation below us will be way better than us. and they can go and save the world, right? So let's simplify this shit. Let's just focus on focus. Okay, now your reticular activating system will show you what you're focused on, what you're consciously thinking about. It will put that stuff in front of your face. So for instance, if you are focused on the idea that you hate your job, you're focused on the idea that you're stuck in that job, you're focused on the idea that you need the job in order to pay the bills and there aren't any other options. You know what? If that's the focus, that is 100% what you're going to get. If you're focused on the elements of your relationship that make you feel down and unfulfilled, if you're focused on the fact that communication is difficult between you and your partner, if you're focused on the fact that actually, could I have done better? Should I have hooked up with someone else when I was younger? Now, it doesn't mean those things are not true, because they are true and they're true to you. But the whole point with the reticular activating system is, if that is what you're focused on, that is exactly what you're going to get. That is 100% what you're going to see, what you're going to feel. And alternatives, which do in fact exist, are going to fade away in the background. They're going to die. They're going to be black and white. They're going to be gray. You're not going to be able to see them, because the reticular activating system is only showing you what it is you're focused on, okay? Let me give you a few just very simple examples. If you think, right, that you're bad at giving speeches, you will be bad at giving speeches, because that's what you're focused on. So the reticular activating system is going to show you all of the reasons as to why you are indeed bad at giving speeches. Now, if you think you're bad at giving speeches, it may be very, very difficult to try to focus on all of the reasons as to why you're very good at giving speeches. And that may at first seem impossible, but what will eventually happen? And by the way, guys, I'm actually going to give you like a technique in a moment, right? I'm not just going to give you all of this theory and then say fucking walk away and figure it out. I'm going to give you a few steps that you can take to start to influence your reticular activating system. But if we can shift that focus away from why you're very bad at giving speeches to the reasons as to why you're very good at this, your reticular activating system will start to show you evidence as to why you're good at giving speeches. That evidence was always there. It always existed, but we didn't see it and we couldn't see it, okay? If you believe that you work very efficiently, right, you're very good at what you do, and you're completely in flow with what it is you do, then the chances are that's probably true, because your reticular activating system is showing you all of the reasons as to why that is absolutely true. When Henry Ford said, if you think you can or you think you can't, you are correct, right? That's so accurate in relation to the reticular activating system, because if you think you can't do something, your reticular activating system will show you all of the reasons as to why you can't, okay? If you think you can do something, your RAS will show you all of the reasons why you can. Now, the alternatives will fade away. So anyway, it's a very, very, very powerful thing, okay? You can train your reticular activating system. You can train it. You can influence it. You can change it. And what you can do is you can change it by doing something called setting your intention. If you focus hard on what it is that you want and the reasons as to why it is possible to get it and is possible to achieve it, and that then firmly makes its way from the realm of thought to belief. And how do we do that? How do we take a thought and turn it into a belief? We take a thought and turn it into a belief via two different ways, right? Write this down, two different ways. One, repetition. This is why affirmations are so powerful, because if we repeat something to ourselves enough times, it starts to become more natural and eventually we start to believe it, because via repetition, that's how we get something to sink and seep into our pores and our very being. The second way, and this way is like one way that people seem to really find it very difficult to wrap their heads around, but if you can really master this, once again, you are superhuman. The second way is deciding that is what you believe. Let me just sit with this one just for a second, because this really is one of those things that people are like, hang on a minute, I either believe it or I don't. It's not up to me. Fucking bullshit. It is 100% up to you, right? Now, the things that you believe and the things that you don't believe have, of course, been influenced by your past experiences, your upbringing, your parents, the people around you, right? Those people that have a very strong religious belief, they have that strong religious belief primarily because that was the belief that was handed to them by their parents. Some people develop very strong religious beliefs that they weren't born with and they weren't born into that family. However, there is a very, 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 very high chance that it was introduced to them by another collection of people or another group of people, or it was introduced to them by an experience that they had that means a lot to them, right? It was a significant experience. 100% of the time, when we believe something, we're deciding to believe it. We have to really understand that and realize that. Even if you have like really strong religious beliefs, we're making the decision that that's what we believe, right? And we can stand by it so strongly that we say, I mean, it takes people to a point where they say, which I completely disagree with this. I'm going to be totally open. I completely disagree with the idea of you believe what I believe or you're wrong. Fuck that, right? Because I understand how the RAS works. I understand how my belief system and my life is constructed by the parameters of my own personal experiences. And my parameters are different to someone else's parameters. So I understand other people see the world in a completely different way. So if they believe something that I don't believe, it's because they can see something that I can't see, right? And they're seeing something in a different way to me, right? So anyway, but so many people fall into this trap. So many people fall into the trap of saying, no, what I believe is correct because what I believe is good. What people really need to wrap their head around is that if we believe something, we are deciding to believe it. Right? Even if we think, no, it wasn't my decision. It was God's decision, or it was this person's decision, or it was put upon me, or it's my journey. It's who I'm meant to be. It's my pathway. It's what I'm destined for. We are making a fucking human decision to say, I'm deciding to believe this and I'm deciding not to believe this. And it seems like we're not consciously making that decision because our beliefs mean so much to us. And to us, it's so obvious that we should believe this and shouldn't believe that it feels like it's not a decision. It feels like it's just purely natural, right? But it always comes down to decision, right? So the reason I'm really emphasizing this is because when you truly, truly wrap your head around that, when you really embrace it, you realize that you actually have another superpower. And that superpower is the power of decision. If I currently believe that I am not worthy of love, right? Let's say, for instance, I currently believe I'm not worthy of love. If I believe that I'm not worthy of love, what do you think my reticular activating system is going to put in front of me? It's going to put in front of me all of the reasons as to why I shouldn't be loved and I can't be loved. And it's going to get me to completely avoid any opportunities or any evidence, right, that might show me that I can indeed be loved. So it will actually take me away from all of these different opportunities where someone may love me, because the reticular activating system is like, no, but you don't believe you can be loved. You're focused on the fact that you can't be loved. So any opportunities that are around you at the moment, like that woman in the gym who quite clearly is madly fucking in love with you, I'm going to make sure that you can't see her. I'm going to make sure that she's gone to you, that she's not in your realm of consciousness. And instead, that girlfriend who broke your heart, who told you that you can never be loved, I'm going to get you to think about her every fucking day when you wake up. Because that's the reticular activating system is like, that's what you want, right? That's what you want. You've told me that you're focused on not being loved. You believe you can't be loved. So the reticular activating system thinks it's your fucking brother. It thinks it's your sister. It thinks it's your friend. And it's like, I'm going to show you that stuff. Now, we may then in that situation say, oh, but if I believe I can't be loved, if I believe I'm not worthy of love, then that's just is what it is, right? That's what I believe. Tough shit. No, we get to decide what we believe. Never, ever, ever forget that. Never underestimate that. We get to decide what we believe. And even if it's something that we don't currently believe, all you need to do is one of two things. Either via repetition, get it into your pores to the point where you do believe it, or my favorite one, simply making the decision that that is what you believe. And then actually what you want is to believe that you are worthy of love, Don't let someone else come along and wait for someone else to give you an experience that allows you to develop that belief. One, decide what it is you want to believe. And two, make the fucking decision that that is what you believe. Relentless, no holds barred, no one can fucking tell me otherwise. It will take an army to come in here and change my mind, because I have now made the decision that I am worthy of love. Someone might say, well, what's contributed towards that decision? What evidence have you got to prove that correct? Who told you? And I'll say, I'm going to cut all of that away right now. Stop you right there. I don't need any of that, because I have decided that I'm worthy of love. Me, no one else, me. I've made the decision. And as of today, that's my decision. I'm sticking with it. Don't give a fuck what you say. That's what I'm going to believe. Now, think about this for a moment. That might seem crazy, right? That might seem crazy. You might think, well, hang on a minute. Can we really fucking be that firm in our decisions? Think about the things that you currently believe to be true. Think about the good or bad, right? Limiting decision, limiting belief, or empowering belief, right? It doesn't matter. Think about the things that you currently believe to be absolutely true. At the moment, you would stick by those things with absolute conviction because you believe them to be true. And if somebody was to come along and tell you that it wasn't true, your initial response would be, well, I'm not going to listen because I know it's true, right? That's the decision I'm making. I'm not going to listen because I believe that to be true. That's this. So you're already doing it. This is what I really want everybody to wrap their heads around. You're already doing it. You're already making very, very firm decisions about what it is you believe. So if we're already making firm decisions about what it is we believe, then why don't we make the same level of firm decision based upon what it is we believe, but change the belief to something that we actually want? Change it to something that serves us. If you do that, right? If you do that, then you've got your second superpower backing you up, right? You've got your second superpower, the reticular activating system, then saying, now that you believe this to be true, now that you're focused on this and your mission is to achieve it, I'm now going to show you all of the ways that you can make this happen. I'm going to introduce you to all of the people that were always there, but before you were ignoring them and you couldn't see them. I'm going to introduce you to all of the places that were always there, but you didn't know existed. I'm going to go and show you all of the opportunities that were always there, but you weren't seeing them before. And the reticular activating system is basically saying, I'm going to fucking back you up here and I'm going to show you all of the things you need to achieve that thing you want to achieve now that you're focused on it and you believe that it can be done. Trust me, the combination of making a decision, I decide to believe this, and the reticular activating system backing you up is a very powerful combination, okay? So let's talk about some steps. First, what I want you to do is I want you to think of a goal, right? A goal or a situation that you want to influence. I want you to think about something that you would like to change. Now, this might be an area of your life that you're not very happy with and you want to change it. This might be something that you want to achieve and you haven't quite got it yet. This might be something that you already have, but you want to improve it. Right? I just want you to think about a goal or a situation that you want to influence, that you either want to change, that you want to move away from, that you want to move towards, that you want to increase, that you want to decrease. Think of a situation that you want to influence. Now think about the experience or result you want to reach in relation to that situation. What is it that you are trying to achieve? Okay, what is it that you are trying to create? What is it that you're trying to make happen? And then what I want you to do is I want you to create like a mental movie of how you picture that goal and that situation, ideally turning out in the future. I want you to notice the sounds, the conversations, what you picture, the images, the detail of the mental movie. I want you to recognize whether or not that mental movie is in black and white or in color, and I want you to make it color. I want you to notice that it's either a still image or a movie, and I want you to make it a movie. I want you to notice whether or not you can see yourself in the movie or you're seeing it through your own eyes, and I want you to see it through your own eyes. So I want it to be moving, I want it to be colorful, I want it to be detailed, and I want you to fucking see it through your own eyes. This mental movie, this situation is the situation that you want to create, right? This is the situation that you want to see happen. This is the situation that's ideal for you. And you play that movie inside of your head and you step into the movie and you go through the movements and you embody it. And the reason as to why I want you to do that is because there is a third superpower that I'm going to introduce you to now. The first superpower is the human decision. Making a decision as to what you believe. Making a decision as to what you believe. The second superpower is your reticular activating system. Once you've made a decision that you believe something that's going to support you on your journey and you're focused on it, your reticular activating system will show you all of the evidence of how you can make that a reality. Okay. And then there is the third superpower. The third superpower is recognition, right? Recognition. What do I mean by recognition? We attract things towards us, right? And when I say we attract things, what I mean is we put ourselves in a situation to create things based upon what we are used to, okay? What we're used to. Whatever that mental movie was that you created, I want you immediately, as soon as you can, either today or tomorrow, to try to embody that to the best of your ability. Now, let me give you a very simple example of what I mean. Let's say, for instance, what you were picturing is you were picturing living in a bigger house, right? You need, say that's a dream of yours, that's a desire. I want a bigger house. I'm living at the moment in this tiny little cramped 1-bedroom apartment with 3 kids. I want a bigger house, even a 2-bedroom apartment, whatever, right? I want this reality to come true. And at first you think, well, I could never make that happen, right? I don't believe that's a possibility. I don't believe that that is something that I would be able to do because I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm just working this dead end job and it's all I'm good and that's the best it'll ever get. Step number 1, we decide what it is we want to believe. And we make the fucking firm decision that that is what we believe. What do you want to believe? Oh, I want to believe that I'm capable of creating wealth. I want to believe that I'm capable of serving an audience. I want to believe that I'm worthy. Right? I want to believe that I'm smart enough. I want to believe that I'm pretty enough. I want to believe that I'm good enough. I want to believe that people respect me. I want to believe that people will listen to me. I want to believe that I'm whatever, right? You make the decision. What is it that you want to believe? You make the firm human decision that that is what you believe. Oh yeah, but how can I believe that? I don't currently believe that. There isn't any evidence to say that that's true or that that's real. I've never done any of those things before. No, but that stuff that you do currently believe, you only believe it because you're making the decision to believe it. So now you're focused on what it is you do want to believe, and you're going to believe it because you're making the fucking decision that you believe that. Right? Then step number 2 kicks in. The reticular activating system says, okay, well, if that's what you believe now, I'm going to start to show you some evidence as to why that's actually true. And that's actually possible. And then all of a sudden you're walking down the street, you bump into somebody and it's like, this is crazy. This is almost like magic. I was thinking about going out and doing something bigger and better. And all of a sudden I met this person and they introduced me to this opportunity. And then all of a sudden I saw this advert and then I bought this thing and I got involved with this opportunity. And then actually what I did is I ended up someone donated a suit to this fucking charity and I went and bought this Hugo Boss suit and it was only like 10 quid. And actually now I'm feeling good. And all of a sudden the universe, as it seems, is throwing all of these things at you to try to move you closer towards the thing that you actually believe now. But also, as well as the universe, it's the reticular activating system showing you that these things were always there, right? They were always there, but you didn't see them before. But anyway, so now, boom, boom, we got step number 2, that's kicked in. So then as well, what we want to be doing is having performed this mental movie, deciding this is what I want to do, this is what I want to create, this is the life I want to live. And you're stepping through that mental movie, right? And you're picturing what it looks like. And let's say, for instance, it was like, I want to live in a bigger house. What I then want you to go and do is I want you to go and slowly start to embody it. Go and view a house that at the moment you can't afford. Go and view that fucking house that you pictured inside of your mental movie. And I'll tell you the reason as to why that's a third superpower is because when we actually step into something and embody something, we start to recognize it. We start to get used to it. And then what happens is, once again, our reticular activating system really likes that. And it really respects the fact that we've actually not left something in the realm of imagination and we've gone and physically embodied something. And once again, it will start to show you all of the things, the people, the places, the opportunities required to make that thing happen. The moral of the story, essentially, is as simple as this. You will find what you focus on 100% of the time. Whatever you are focused on, you're going to see it. You're going to hear it. You're going to smell it. You're going to taste it. You're going to touch it. Whatever you think about, whatever you're focused on, whatever you believe, your reticular activating system will not only show you all of the reasons as to why all of that stuff is true, but it's actually going to kill all of the reasons as to why it's not true. And that is a very important thing to recognize. If you are focused on how you don't make enough money at the moment, if you're focused on the fact that your relationship is not a fulfilling one, if you're focused on the fact that you don't believe that you're worthy of success, if you're focused on those things and you're consciously thinking about those things and you believe those things, your reticular activating system is going to kill all of the opportunities that are literally staring you in the fucking face because it doesn't think that you want to see them. Never, ever forget that. Those opportunities are there. They exist. In the same way that you can't smell Wi-Fi or taste carbon monoxide, those opportunities are fucking right there, smack bang in the middle of your face right now. I can promise you that right now. But as long as we are focused on the reasons as to why we cannot have something, that we're not worthy, that we're in an unfulfilled relationship, unfulfilled job, don't have enough money, waking up with worry, putting our focus into that stuff, that those opportunities that are right there in front of you, the reticular activating system will say, well, they obviously don't want to see this because it doesn't fit in line with their beliefs. It doesn't fit in line with their focus or their values. They don't want to see it. So I'm going to fucking kill it. No, we need to shift that focus. We need to shift that belief. We need to shift those values. How do we do that? We make the decision to do that. Once we've made the decision to do that, the reticular activating system starts to show us the opportunities. Once it shows us the opportunities, we then step into those opportunities and we dare to imagine, we dare to dream something bigger and better. Once we've dared to dream, then we go and step into that, even though we think, I can't afford that yet. I'm not good enough for that yet. I'm not in that place yet. Go and do it. Go and step into it. Go and feel it. Go and fucking test drive that car that you can't afford. Go and view that house that you think you'll never get. Go and fucking step and walk around that school that you think you'll never get into. Whatever, right? Whatever it is. Go and embody it and allow the RAS to go and show you the pathways of how you can make it happen. I love you all. You're amazing. You're incredible. Love you all. Speak soon.